Hey everyone, I'm so sorry I'm late. I'm here now. Let me know if you can hear me and see me, and I have so much to share. Okay, I think I figured out how to do the horizontal video today. Let me know if you can see me and hear me, because I know you guys were expecting me a little bit earlier, and then, all right. Okay, good. I'm assuming that you can see. Okay, you're here, Nida. Welcome, everyone. So today we're talking manifesting by stages, Barkat versus peasant consciousness. And if you're wondering what stages I'm referring to, I am referring to the stages in my book. I'm referring to Basic Babe, Self-Aware Barbie, Million Dollar Babe, and High-End Divinity. And there's like these keys that I've noticed, these codes of manifesting, especially when it comes to like money and like having it all in all the areas. And I really want to discuss them with you. I gave you guys a warning in yesterday's video that I had this huge spiritual experience, and I was like, came at you raw and like unfiltered because I wasn't grounded. And I had another huge spiritual awakening today, bigger than yesterday. This whole experience that I called in, and I purposely did not do any of my grounding exercises after that, because I just want to come at you today just unfiltered and like super just whatever. And so to kind of explain that to you, when we're doing really deep spiritual work, sometimes we can feel very ungrounded and be super like in our like flying high, cloud nine, super woo-woo. And this can be a big problem when you're teaching, because other people, or not even just teaching, just walking around in life, because other people, instead of being inspired by that, maybe like, whoa, you're sounding a little cray right now, right? And so you lose certain people that could have gotten a transmission from you if you were a little bit more grounded. And so I pride myself in teaching very spiritual concepts in a very grounded state. However, there's something in me telling me that don't worry about it today. And so I didn't ground myself after my experience. Freaking amazing. And so let's just like do it raw. I didn't take any notes that would have grounded me again writing, so I'm just gonna just riff and talk about all the things. The first thing that you guys need to know, and I'm actually going back even into my childhood. I want to share with you things that I've always known even when I didn't have money, because a lot of times what happens is when I'm telling people really amazing deep stuff about how they can manifest a brilliant life in all areas, there's a tendency for some people to be like, well, it's easy for you to say that because you're already a decamillionaire and you already have the relationship and you already have the health and you already have all the things, right? But here's the thing. At the ring front door. Sorry. Here's the thing. I already was believing these things even in the midst of poverty, is why I unlock them. So another way of saying this is that even when I was poor, I was never a peasant. For some reason, I came into this world knowing that I was supposed to be rich. In fact, my mom told me that when I was 2, I would act very surprised that we weren't wealthy and insist that we were, even though we weren't. And she would she would get a kick out of it. She was like, for some reason, you believed that you were rich. And so I have met wealthy people that were in peasant consciousness, and I've met poor people that were in Barkat consciousness, right? Which is that abundance, compounded, angel currency, divine, multiplication energy. That you can be that at any stage. It doesn't discriminate. And so I'm gonna go back and talk about some of my personal universal truths that I've known at any stage of my income bracket. Number 1 is that I never believed that there was nothing in me that believed that God was a peasant. So like this belief, knowing that God was rich and that God wanted us to be rich, that God did not create us and then like want us to be poor or want us to like pull back our manifestation. So that's number one, that like I always saw God as abundance. Even when I wasn't abundant, I believe that God wanted me to be rich. So that's universal truth number one that I believed since I was a little kid. Put that in the chat so we can remember. And number two is that we are all materialistic. This is important. This is even more important than the God one, honestly, because this is where a lot of people get this wrong. I've had clients or students over the years in my courses where they'll say things like, and I'll call the shit out of them like immediately. I'll be like, bitch, stop it. They'll be like, well, I'm not materialistic. I just want a husband and like kids. I'm like, okay, did you actually want your husband on planet Earth, like in your home, like with you? Or did you only want to visit him like while you sleep and dream or while you do visualization? And they get confused and like, well, yeah, I would like a husband here. Okay, bitch, you're materialistic. And that's a good thing. We are all materialistic and we came here because we like to have a material existence and a material experience. But there's so many people that judge themselves and like think they're like holier than thou because they're not materialistic and they only want this. And if you actually want that thing to materialize in your life, you are materialistic. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And own it. Because the quicker you can own the fact that we are all materialistic and we actually like our food to be real and not just air food, imaginary food, and we like our partner to be like in the physical room with us and not like, you know, we're not like that Lifetime weird character that has an imaginary freaking relationship, right? Like we want real stuff. Then own the fact that God created you to be a materialistic person. And once you stop judging and putting things in certain categories as like this is materialistic but this is not, you're going to be blocking your blessing. So cut that shit out if you want to have all the things and actually have them materialize, okay? So that's universal truth number two for me that I had since I was little. The other thing I would say is it's more of an energy and hard to kind of quantify in a truth, but even when I didn't have money, I didn't act like a peasant. There's people at every income bracket and every net worth ratio that will mull over every purchase and like, you know, drive 20 minutes to save 10 cents and do all of this really painful stuff that at the end just zaps your energy and blocks your blessings. Because think of it this way, like God is not a peasant, money isn't a peasant, like nothing that God created thrives in peasant consciousness. So when you're trying to manifest from there, it's like pulling teeth. It's so just heavy and so difficult and so time consuming and so like dense, right? Like yesterday I showed you guys the levels you know, of consciousness. It's the same thing. In fact, let me go get my whiteboard. We're gonna do another whiteboard moment, and it might be harder with this orientation, but we'll figure it out. Okay. Oh no, it's not that bad. I'll just start writing somewhere over here. Okay. Can you see this? But I'm gonna erase this and I'm gonna write something better. And now you guys are going to learn that I have the worst, I should have been a doctor, I have the worst handwriting ever. Okay, so can you see this? Yes, you can. All right, so let's do it. So we talked about yesterday, I'm gonna go lower so you can actually see it, that this is Earth, which equals material form. A manifestation is something where you take God consciousness, God energy, and you turn it into material form. As human beings having a like very dense like human experience, we don't like to call things a manifestation until it's actually showed up. Like that's the definition of a manifestation to us, right? It's something that is like if I just told you some imaginary shit, like for example, let's say for 15 years I've been talking about having a husband and like there was no husband, right? Like that would be like some cuckoo shit. You would think that there was something terribly wrong with me And if you found out that actually there was no husband, you would think that I was like mentally disturbed, right? So we like our manifestations material. So here is something that like for example, when this book manifested, like I've been talking about this book, right? Since I started writing it on July 15, 2023, I've been talking about it, but it wasn't, let me finish drawing the whole thing and then this will make a lot more sense. So this is when, like, can you still see this? Let me see if I turn my ring light off, it might be a little better for you. But then it's too freaking dark. Okay, let me turn this one on. Is that better? Okay. I think that's a little bit better. So this is where I'm gonna see how high I'm allowed to go before you can't see it. Okay, so this is like original material, it's original source. This is where God is. Okay, so when we're trying to bring source energy into a physical manifestation, there has to be this period and this like stage that it goes through. And the heavier you are in your density, we were talking about this yesterday, right? Like that, the more stories you have, the more limiting beliefs you have, the less inner work you've done, the harder it might be for you to manifest, especially in the areas where you have a lot of limiting beliefs, like you have a lot of stories. You might be able to attract things in the area where you don't have stories, you don't have limiting beliefs, but like in the areas that you do, it's going to be very difficult. So let's just assume that there's like different densities here, right? So this is the basic babe, this is the self-aware Barbie, $1 million babe, and high-end divinity. Okay, so when people are here in the basic babe stage, and if you want to learn more about my stages, I believe, let's see what chapter, I think it's chapter 2 is, yeah, chapter 3, babes, Barbies, and lucky bitches. That's the stages work in my book. So when you are in the basic babe stage, you haven't healed your inner child. You have this consciousness of like everything needs to come through someone else. The only way you can have something is if like mommy and daddy give it to you, or like hubby gives it to you, or this is where your stage is like very much, it has to be free or manifested through someone. There's a part of you that doesn't feel like a healed whole adult where you can actually get the manifestation. So these people are going to walk around saying things like, well, I was meant to have it. If I was meant to have it, I would have it for free. Like I shouldn't have to pay for things. Or, well, you know, these are also the people that might have someone providing for them, but then they like don't know anything about money. They're like buried their head. And if something happened in that relationship, they have no money to their name. They can't survive. They don't know how to manifest literally as being a channel themselves. And so they still think that they're manifesting, and obviously they are. So their density is low enough where they still can call things in, but it needs to be called in another channel. They cannot do it themselves. So it's like the freebie stage, right? Like everything has to be free. The self-aware Barbie is super dense, and her beliefs are that if you've got to do it, you've got to do it yourself. Like you can't trust God, you can't trust another human being. They're gonna screw it up, they're not gonna get it right, there's gonna be a price to pay. And so what the self-aware Barbie is doing is she's creating, so this basic babe is creating through other people, manifesting through other people. Self-aware Barbie is creating from density. So she's creating matter from matter. So for example, the only way she can have money is if she sacrifices her health or her well-being or her hours or her pleasure. There's always like this creating from something that already exists. So what she has to offer in a payment for this manifestation is going to be something that's already here. So it's like, okay, I can make a lot of money, but then I have to give up my health. I can make a lot of money, but then I can't have babies. I can make a lot of money, but then I can't be in a relationship. I can have a lot of money, but then it's like super miserable. So her manifestations have, it's because she's only creating from like super dense material form, and I used to be that, so I know the price you have to pay, right? I manifested a rheumatoid arthritis and all kinds of issues. There's always some kind of a transactional exchange for it, because she is not creating with divinity. She's creating from things that have already been created. Okay, everyone still with me? Welcome, Tara, to Level Up Queens. If you guys want to access the chat, you can sign up via the join button, or I'll throw in the link for you guys in the chat right now. Everyone with me, let me know the two stages, okay? So in this stage, it's always going to be this exhaustion energy. And yes, they can manifest from this energy, but the problem is that it takes a lot of hard work. There's always something to exchange with. It's literally like, feels like signing away your soul to the devil or something, right? Like there's something you have to give up. They don't understand how to be able to get something where there's nothing in exchange for it. There's nothing bad that needs to happen. There's no price to pay. Yeah? Thank you. Okay, thank you. Let me know. For those of you guys not in the chat, give this video a thumbs up and let me know you want me to continue. You're with me, okay? Now, what happens in the $1 Million Babe, and remember there's stages to each stage. So there's 3 stages in the Basic Babe, 3 stages in the Self-Aware Barbie, 3 stages in the $1 Million Babe, and 3 stages in the High-End Divinity. In the book, in Lady Balls, I talked about the 3 stages of the Self-Aware Barbie, because most people that find me, I would say over 80%, are in the Self-Aware Barbie stage when they come find me. So that's why I elaborated on that stage more. In the $1 Million Babe stage, what happens is that you start integrating your own aspects of the feminine and the masculine of manifesting, right? This, the masculine is more dense, more the physical, more the action taking, more of the physical stuff, right? And then the feminine is the calling it in, the manifestation. It might be the rituals, the belief, the inner work, like it's the hidden stuff, the energetics of manifesting. So in $1 Million Babe, what starts happening is you start integrating both of those, and you start realizing that you don't have to create, you know, matter from matter, that you can actually create from source, and source is unlimited. It's always expanding, and it does its best creating art through you. And you stop controlling your manifestations, and you stop thinking that it has to come in this way or that way. There's something that I just recently, just this week, manifested something huge. So I've had the like brilliant manifestations this week, but just one of them was regards to this goal that I had set. And those of you guys in CEO Boss Queen, you know that. And yesterday I realized that I hit the number that I was, you know, setting as a goal, but I didn't hit it where I thought it was going to come from. And this is like the story of my life. It always comes in more magical ways than I can imagine. And I can't wait to share that with you guys in CEO Boss Queen. But it came through before that time period I had sent even ended. I had set for myself, but it came through my husband. It didn't come through my business like I thought it was. Like the goal that I was setting, it came through Irfan. And that's perfectly fine with me. I'm willing and able to receive it from any source. But the point is that in $1 Million Babe, there's no, like, there's still action taking. You still have to have the integrated masculine, but there is no price to pay. There's nothing to exchange for it. There's just the energetics of your alignment and you becoming a reciprocal of the thing. It might come in ways that you didn't imagine, but it doesn't matter, because the Self-Aware Barbie very much cares where it came from. And she thinks it only can come from a certain place. But the $1 Million Babe doesn't give a damn where it comes from, as long as she's a match for it. She knows it's coming. And so in the High-End Divinity field, you're integrated in all aspects of you. And here you are at the point where you literally start channeling the divine. So instead of you creating art, God is literally now using you as a channel to create art. And this is truly where you get out of the way in aspects of the ego and all other identities and parts of you, and you start just letting God come through in any way. And how I've been experiencing this is I don't even know the manifestation until it shows up. So in the $1 Million Babe stage, it was very much like I would like this, and then it shows up. In the high-end divinity things, it's deciding itself what's gonna come, and it's always surprising me. So this is where you hear me saying God tricks me into it, God surprises me with it. I'm not choosing the manifestation is choosing me. And the experience is literally from here, where you're doing the inner work and aligning in the $1 Million Babe stage. In the high-end divinity, the thing it's doing its inner work and aligning with you. So you are the thing that it's manifesting instead of you manifesting. Does that make sense? Let me know, okay? So one of the biggest issues that I see in people coming into this work is they make the process so painful and so difficult even before they've begun. And it's like, you know what? Don't even worry about it. Don't even start, because before you've begun the process of manifesting, you're already so in a state of peasanthood. Everything, you've already decided that it's going to be hard. You've already decided that there's going to be a price to pay. You've already I don't even want to be in the energy of something so miserable before it's even begun. So what's coming up for you guys before, as I'm just saying that, let me see what's coming up before I continue, because I feel like my next best stuff is going to come through when you guys ask questions or let me know what's coming up. Science and Magic, Amanda, my dear friend, my student, she said, wow, I love this. The manifestation is choosing me. You are the thing it's manifesting. Yes. And this is such a unique experience. And I'm new to it. I've only been doing that for about 2 years, where I've been at that level and manifesting at that level. So it still is kind of a newer vibration for me. So it's such a surreal experience. And of course I have moments where I forget, and then I'm back in the $1 Million Babe, which there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm happy to be in the $1 Million Babe range and just be like, oh, I would like this. But like 90% of the time when I'm in the high-end divinity, the thing just shows up. The things that have shown up in my field just even in the last 3 or 4 months have just blown my mind. And then the thing shows up saying, oh my God, I manifested you. I've been working so hard. I've been calling it in. And that's that signature of like, I'm just standing here out of the way, channeling God, letting source create art through me, and everything else is doing its inner work. So money is doing its inner work to come into my field. People are doing their inner work to come into my field. Experiences are doing their inner work to come into my field. But this requires you to lower your density, because the lower forms have a higher density. You haven't done your inner work. This is why it is such a pet peeve of mine when basic babes try getting into astrology, try getting into like these really deep like manifestation principles. It's like, bitch, you haven't done any inner work yet. Like, it doesn't work like that. You have to lower your own density by releasing the stuff that's keeping you stuck, the stories, the old timelines, the old identities, and then use these things. These things outside of you aren't going to give you the solution. It's going to be very confusing, very haphazard. It's going to be a struggle, like struggle manifesting, like struggle love, when you are actually not doing your inner work. Does manifestation interfere with Christian faith? So the other way you're saying it is, does God interfere with Christian faith? Does God interfere with Muslim faith? If the answer is no, then the answer is no. Because God put us here on this earth to like enjoy life, to do our inner work, to grow, to eat good food, to have brilliant relationships, to manifest money. I don't know why people believe that manifestation interferes with their religion, because every single religious book the only thing it's talking about is manifestation. The only thing. I have not heard anything in the Quran or anything in the Gita or anything in Christianity, in the Bible, in any of these books that are not talking about manifesting. Prove me wrong. So I don't know like what type of people are trying to keep this truth away from you. It seems like a devil's act, because why would anyone not want you to do what God told you to do? For example, God wants you to, get married and have children, manifestations, right? God wants you to work, manifestation. God wants you to get educated, manifestations. God wants you to spread kindness and love and do unto your brother as you would, like all of that is manifestation, all of it. So I'm not sure what type of weird people think that it's interfering with their religion, but religion is telling you to manifest. That's the only thing it's been telling you to do. Oh my God, Jesus was such a powerful manifester. Check out the Gospel of Thomas, lots of references to the power of focus. Yep, absolutely. Same thing in the Quran. That's why Muslim people are really into manifesting as well, because there's nothing about manifestation, which is basically taking God energy and turning it into material form that you can access here. In order to access God, you need to manifest. What exercise practice from all the inner work do you think, would you say, made the biggest difference for you? Talking to God, I would say, would be the best one. And so yes, there were a lot of things I had to do to unlock my intuition, everything I've taught you guys in my courses. But I would say the only thing I need is my conversations with God to manifest pretty much anything. But in order to be able to hear God, I had to do all this other inner work, because you guys know I come from a background of sexual trauma and all this other stuff, right? That's just the experience that I had to go through on this planet to be the teacher that I am now. But I would say talking to God is probably the most important one. It is the most important one. Welcome, Diane, to Level Up Queens. Weren't you already a member? I feel like you were already a member. Let me see what else you guys doing. Let's see. Can you better explain the process that the thing manifests you? Like, do you know what you want first? So unless you're in the high-end divinity frequency already, nothing I say from my mouth will make sense to you. Because remember yesterday when we talked about how you only can receive information in the frequency that you're in? But I'll try to explain it to you. And it's probably, unless you're at least in the $1 Million Babe stage, it's not gonna make sense. It basically internally feels like you just living life, getting out of your way, not efforting, just being in alignment with God, and things keep coming into your field. Once they show up, you're like, oh my God, I wanted this. But you never had, like, the desire wasn't even shown before. When it shows up, you're like, damn, I manifested this. But it's not, there was no effort in it. It just showed up. But the thing shows up more excited about manifesting you than you can even, like, before it even registers that you manifested it. But that's taken decades of inner work for me personally. Let me see what else you guys are saying. By the way, I want to quickly mention that we are now in the last couple of days of my birthday sale. I have this birthday sale every year in November. I don't know if I'm going to do it again next year, but we are having it this year. And the code this year is Barkat, and it gets you 23% off all courses, intensives, and bundles on my website. And so the code is Barkat. You just enter it at checkout. There is pay now, buy now, pay later through Affirm, Klarna, Afterpay, PayPal for Pay for US citizens. Available. There's also a gifting option. So if you wanted to gift it, you would just check the gift box at checkout. Okay, so I'll throw that in. Oh, thank you, Haney. Sounds like just being in flow. Yes and no. I don't like to have these blanket statements because a basic babe or self-aware Barbie will hear them say, well, I'm in flow, but they're not in alignment, right? They haven't done their inner work. They're in the flow of their story. They're in the flow of their limiting beliefs. So I do think that this stage is unlocked through inner work. I have not met one person in my entire life that's been able to unlock that type of a stage without inner work. Wow, I love that. I am the answer to someone else's prayers. Absolutely. Because why I don't teach the high-end divinity concepts in public. I teach them in my closed programs. The reason is that they will ruin your life unless you're actually at that stage. So if a basic babe hears those high-end divinity concepts, that's gonna be music to her ears because she's like, oh good, now I don't have to integrate my masculine energy and I can just like sit here and just be in my flow and things will come to me, and then nothing will happen, or a few things might come through someone else, but her life could be ruined. She might not get an education, she might not start a business or have a career or do anything for herself because she didn't do her inner work. And that's why I'm not a big fan of basic babes following spiritual teachers, listening to spiritual trainings. That's not where they need to be at that time. What they need to do is actually listen to very practical, grounded people that are teaching more masculine style, because they need to learn how to take action. They need to how to take responsibility, how to grow up, how to adult, how to do all those things. But a large majority of people following spiritual guidance are actually basic babe stage people, and that's so dangerous for them. It is so dangerous. Will the code be active until Saturday, the 25th? It's hard to say, babe, because the way that the Thinkific system is, it's in a weird, different time zone than we are, and so it really just depends on your time zone. We have it activate, so you can use it until it's going through, but at sometime between the 24th and 25th, depending on your time zone, it will stop working. Mina, seeing you at this level, living your best life, is literally showing us what's possible. Thank you. You're so welcome. I'm so glad to hear that. I think we need definitely, I'm like that too, where I need to see that, well, at some point, I don't need it now, but at some point I needed those frequency models like showing me what it could look like, especially when I was like in my lower stages. And then when you start seeing it, you're like, oh right, 4-minute mile, I get to have it too. And then you start unlocking it, and that becomes the biggest gift for other people. So I know that other people have provided that for me, so I'm so happy that I'm able to provide that. I feel like a lot of spiritual coaches know that, but still choose a lot of people be misguided by them. I'm not, yeah, maybe, I don't know. I think that the spiritual coaches are so embodied in their own masculine self, like they're willing to take the action. Obviously, they're taking the action, and maybe they're so embodied in it that they forget to share that part. Because remember, I've told you guys how when you're really, really, really embodied in something, it actually can be very hard to teach it. You need two different skill sets, and I have become very conscious of this, and I journal on this, and I make sure. For example, it's like teaching, you can't teach like if you asked a fish to teach you how to swim, she would say, "What swim?" Because she just exists in it. She doesn't know that she's separate from it. She's just in the water swimming. So she's not really gonna be the best teacher for you unless that fish was awakened to the fact that, oh, I know how to do something and other people don't know. Let me really think about it. Let me think how I learned how to swim. And then she engineers the process, and then she could teach you. So people like me that started at the bottom and like learned it and worked our way up, and then we remind ourselves that, oh wait, I didn't know this when I was at that stage. Let me teach everyone. we have to remind ourselves of that, because if we're truly, truly, truly embodied in it, sometimes you forget. Like, for example, when it was time to teach Armaan how to drive, I told Irfan, I'm like, I don't think I can even be in the car. Like, you know, they would just go out and do it. Like, I knew that I was always a nervous driver learning. I didn't want to infect him with that. And also, that's not a skill set that I want to take on. Like, I'm so embodied in my driving, then having to reverse engineer and teach Armaan is not something I wanted to do. So Irfan just taught him how to drive. But it takes a whole different level of a skill set to come outside of you and be able to see and then teach it. So I think some of these spiritual coaches, they mean well, but they're so embodied in certain aspects that they forget to teach that, and their audiences might be basic babes and totally missing, or basic boys, and they get so engrossed in the spirituality of it that they forget to take any action. They don't know how to take action, and they might have haphazard manifesting once or twice through other people, but they can't do it consistently because they don't have the formula. They really don't. Hi, Mina. Besides talking to God, what kind of deep meditation are you doing currently? Remember the feminine surrender meditation on the manifest course. Yeah, so do the ones that you're being called to. I'm in meditation right now. So the meditations that I do are channeling. So I'm in a meditative state right now. Basically, I've gotten out of my way, and just God is just speaking through the channel that I've become. So my meditations are going to look a little bit different than what you might need at the moment. So in the basic babe bundle, I gave you guys, I think there's like 17, 18 meditations in there that you can do. If you have the manifest course, do that one. Do the one that resonates with you, because that's going to be the one that your soul wants you to do. So do the one that you're being moved towards and called towards. My meditation right now looks like channeling. I talk about harmonizing feminine and masculine energy so I don't attract the basic babes. Yep. I do, and say certain things too to keep the stage 1 and 2 basic babes away. I'm okay with stage 3 basic babes, because that's half. It's going to be a little bit more self-aware Barbie and then a little bit basic babes. Like, I'm okay with that. I can handle that as long as they're not, you know, having a basic babe moment like too often. But yeah, you want to position your business and your messaging in a way that you're not attracting them if that's not who you want to work with. Do you have advice for ways to disconnect from the heaviness when you catch yourself going there? I feel like that is my hardest hurdle to get past. Hang up on yourself. Hang up on the thoughts and do something easy that you enjoy doing. So a go-to for you, make a list. I had you guys do that in Sacred Feminine. Make a list of 20 things that are easy and like really pleasurable for you to do. And so in those moments when you start getting dense and you start feeling heavy, hang up on that thought and choose one of those things and go do that thing. Whether it's breathing a certain way, or grounding outside, or singing a song, or journaling, or listening to the birds. Like, do something that will instantly get you out of that mode. I agree. You are open my consciousness to what is possible as a woman, wife, mother, business owner, and human. I honestly feel like, Amanda, that's why God sent me here, because right now what's happening is I'm unintentionally, God tricked me into it. I don't think I would have been accepting the assignment if God had given it to me so bluntly. So it was like kind of tricked into it. But what I see myself doing right now is changing the literal morphogenetic field, like changing the entire Western culture and what they believe in, challenging it and saying, no, motherhood doesn't have to be peasantry. No, being a wife is not miserable. No, you get to be rich too. Not only a certain type of people, sacred people, you need to be rich too. Spiritual people. In fact, the truly spiritual people that I know are so wealthy. Because if you think you're spiritual and you're poor, I'm sorry, you are not spiritual. You haven't done your inner work. okay? You're pretending to be spiritual so you don't actually have to do the work. That's what you're doing, because spiritual people have wealth. In fact, if you remember Maslow's hierarchy of needs, or whatever his pyramid was, right? Like, you can't really even start real spiritual work until you work through the root chakra stuff and started feeling secure and having your necessities and all of that stuff taken care of. So I want to stop this lie that people have been spreading, and I don't know why. They're trying to get you not to have kids, trying to get you not getting married, trying to get you miserable and addicted to drugs and prescription this. And I don't know why there are certain people in certain cultures and certain morphogenetic fields that are trying to literally destroy the Western culture. But I'm here to challenge that and be like, no, you're being lied to. You do get to have it all, and no, there's no price to pay, and no, it's not fucking miserable. I don't know why they keep telling you that stuff. That top is fabulous. I literally gasped when I clicked on that video. Thank you. I appreciate that. I thought it was going to be super see-through, so I was like almost scared to wear it, but it's not. They did it in a very classy way. Let me see what else you guys are saying. And if you want to have like more conversations on this level in a course, I highly recommend my Manifesting with God course. That's like my quantum coursework. It's so delicious. Oh my God. It's just so delicious. So I would say definitely go and do Manifest. And then Barkat is great, and Sajda is great. Like, those three are like a power couple, or power trilogy. I don't know how to say it. What we eat affects our density for sure. I have heard some people eat vegetables for low density. Do you have any advice on this, Mina? I know you mostly on the carnivore diet. I definitely eat the carnivore diet. That's the Homo sapien diet. So you have to take care of your Homo sapien needs first, meaning your human needs. Because if your root is messed up and you're, not healthy in that way, that all of your energy and focus will put you in fight or flight, so you can take care of those basic level root stuff. So yes, that's the diet that I eat and I feel my best on. I still struggle with having patience with those who mean well, but in their peasant consciousness. Can I be honest with you, Christian? Me too. I can't stand it. It's just so miserable. The energy coming out of them is just so freaking miserable that it's just very repelling, right? It's just super repellent. And the thing is, they're attracted to your Barkat energy, so they want to be with you. But you don't want to be with them. That's why they can't manifest and things are difficult, because money doesn't want to be with them. Like, there's no manifestation that's like, ooh, that's hot and sexy, miserable. Like, oh, I want to go to that repellent, crazy peasant energy. Like, who wants to manifest? What material item, money, anything wants like misery, is like attracted to that? Not anything healthy, not anything delicious, not anything worth having. And so we're repelled by them, but they want to be with us because there's something in their soul that's like, bitch, do this. Like, look, this is the thing. And their thought process is, well, if I would be rich, no, you could be a billionaire and you would still be a fucking peasant because you haven't done your inner work. I've met people that are really wealthy that are still in peasant consciousness. Is low density and high vibration the same thing? Yes. I think high vibration has been used so much that sometimes things that have been oversaid can lose its meaning. So when you say them a different way, it can click a little better. It's like a reset. Oh my God, I have to show you. Sorry, my room is my office room is so messy. Well, we've been working on like a billion projects all at the same time. And so I didn't clean up for you guys, but this is my book. It's already out. You guys know this. And this is the proof for the journal. It's not out yet, but I'm just kind of showing you guys. I'm so proud of it. I love it. There's just one little correction that I have sent it back for, but super excited about it. It just feels so good. Like, this is why I tell you, we're material people. We like holding things in our hand. And I love creating my courses, but with the courses, you don't get that. Like my courses are more transmission energy. It's more like, it's like the energy of a transmission, right? It's like energetically there, but like holding something in your hand is just, it's next level. It feels so good. That's how they're going to look as a duo. Here's the power couple. Hi. Yay. I'm so excited. Anyways. 42 Mat, welcome to Level Up Queens. Yeah, they just feel so good. Yeah, isn't it just like big and fat and juicy? I love it. When it showed up, I'm like, oh, I had this thing. Let me reveal it. God was like, it needs to be 222 pages. And it is 222 pages. And at one point, it looked like it wasn't going to be 222 pages. And so I was messaging Haney, my assistant. I was like, Haney, that's okay. Like, don't worry about it. Like, whatever. Like, and she's like, no, Mina, you want it 222 pages. And so I was like, yeah, but like, if it's going to be difficult, like, forget. Like, I was like trying to talk myself out of it because I didn't want it to be like more work or like difficult in any way. And she just did it. She just made it happen. She didn't even tell me about it. She just did it and then showed up and I looked at it and I'm like, oh, God said it was going to be 222 pages. She's like, yep. She's like, you get to have what you want. Talia said, Mina, I just finished your book and I want to say thank you for helping me heal my inner wounds. Game changer book. I bought it for my eight-year-old sister. Oh my God, you have an 8-year-old sister. How cute. And I'm so glad. Oh my goodness. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Aw. Alina's going to be 10 in January, but close to Alina's age. So interestingly enough, I had a client tell me the other day that she put my book in her will. So she's like, if something were to happen to me, my kids know that this is the book that they have to read and you're the teacher that they have to access. So I was like, oh my God, girl, that's like deep. Like, okay. Like I received that. So I talk about these concepts and embody them with Alina. So for example, there's nothing in this book that any one of you guys can go up to Alina and be like, this is in there, and she'd be like, yes. Like she's just embodied in those things. She just knows them. So I would say use your judgment and use your truth testing. Like, you know what consciousness your sister is in. One thing I will say is this new generation that's coming in is already coming in with an upgraded spiritual system. Yes, they still have to do their inner work. They still have to decondition, but they're far ahead, as they should be. They're the more evolved, like they're the iPhone 15, we're the iPhone 13, right? Like they're the next generation. So of course they're better, already spiritually upgraded in all the ways, encoded. So I would say use your judgment, but also embody the principles, because her seeing you embody the principles is way more powerful for her, especially at her age, than just giving her the book. I appreciate you getting the book for her, but I would say the biggest gift you're giving her is that she's got an older sister that's truly embodied. Malaika, welcome to Level Up Queens. Happy to have you. I'm joining you in Houston on January 17th. Yay! Very excited. What are we going to learn about on that day? I'll be driving from Dallas. I haven't told my husband yet. I find out what I'm channeling when I'm walking down to the event space. So you will find out when I find out. You guys know my work is channeled. I don't, like, I'm, because I'm always channeling multiple things, I think God doesn't want, I'm speaking for God now here, but God doesn't want to bog me down with too many things. And I've noticed even when I've asked for things up ahead, He will only show me the thing that I need to know at the moment. 222, I woke up at 2:22 a.m. and wrote journal will be in my notes. No way. Chills. Oh my goodness. That is crazy. Yep, it's 222. Even though like I had released it, I was like, okay, whatever. If it's not gonna happen, it's not gonna happen. But it happened anyways. And so it starts off, I can show you guys a little bit of it. It starts off with an introduction, and I tell you how to journal, how to use affirmations, how to use invocations, and then there's 3 parts to it. So I like explain the stages in there. We have fun quotes from the book. So for example, I just saw chapter 2 go by. So it's like a cross between a journal and a workbook, because there's definitely like prompts in here. So like this is chapter 1, and we talk like share some quotes, affirmations, and then I walk you through the journal prompts in there. And then in part 3 at the end is like all of the exercises and invocations and things like that. The 6-step process. So yeah, super excited about it. This should be ready. I wanted it released for New Year, so I would say probably 2nd week of December should be ready. My birthday is 2282 on a Tuesday at 2:22. Oh my goodness, those are lucky numbers. Mina, I don't know if you know this, but third-party authors on Amazon are stealing your journal's idea and using your title. Girl, I know. Yes, it's like I was having this conversation with a friend. And she was saying she's like Chanel has copies, like Louis Vuitton has copies, right? Like no one copies a Forever 21 bag, right? And I'm like, true. It's the whole thing is hilarious that instead of channeling God and letting the thing flow from them, they need to just take someone else's thing. So we have someone dealing with stuff like that for us. So my thing is stay in my zone of genius. I'm just supposed to channel. I'm just supposed to teach. That's my job. Just be the frequency holder. But I have someone handling stuff like that. I just learned that my 1-year-old daughter is a projector. I'm a generator. What is the best thing I can do to raise my daughter as a projector? So I would say have a reading done with Armaan. He's really good, very intuitive on helping you parent, the different types, especially because he's 19. So he still has that perspective of the experience of being a child, and then the lens of being able to see a parent from the perspective of a child, right? So he has such amazing testimonials from my clients that use him for those. So I would definitely recommend that. Any other questions about the sale, manifesting by stages, Barkat versus peasant consciousness? So let's talk a little bit about Barkat consciousness actually. So Barkat consciousness, first and foremost, is knowing that God is infinite and that everything is created from God's source, and that God is not only not going to run out, but God is always multiplying. It's always growing. We know this actually as proof in quantum physics now, that everything in existence, all that is always growing. And when they say growing, they don't mean spreading apart. They mean it's actually multiplying. It's actually growing. So God consciousness, source material, is always expanding and growing, and that's what it requires of us. The more we expand, the more we grow, the more we put out, that's what we multiply, not only in God consciousness, but also in our lives. So my belief that God is not a peasant, and even if I don't have money, I can tap into that belief that God wants me to be rich, and I can always source from God and create from there, is what helped me create all of these. The other thing that you need to know about Barkat consciousness, which by the way, I have a whole course on Barkat called Barkat, highly recommended. Barkat consciousness is whatever you put out is then multiplied for you by God. So it's like God is keeping this multiplication kind of tab, this compounding tab for you. And even on earth, I think human beings have a very hard time projecting out of how things compound, right? But if you really think of God's compounding, it's even beyond what human compounding is. Like the compound effect of the human realm, like it's God's compounding is way beyond anything you can imagine. So for example, if you write a prayer and like 100 people read that prayer, every single person that read the prayer that you wrote, that's multiplication energy in your tab. So that goes into your tab. If you write a song, or you produce a song, and let's say 1 million people listen to that song and they're dancing to it and they're uplifted by it, that goes under your tab. So literally think of it as God having this tab opened up, you know, in your akasha, because it's being written out, and you will be rewarded for that. You might be rewarded, you can cash it in for different things. So for example, if I was, you know, supposed to be in an accident, but I've got all of this you know, Barkat energy saved up, all this currency, all this cash in my akashics, because I did all these good things and they got multiplied, well, I can cash that in to not have the accident. Or if I, you know, need grace for something, or I need, you know, money for something, I can cash in those blessings and literally like cash them in for the thing that I want. And I feel like this is really coming in my life right now in such massive ways. Like I won't even finish having a thought. It's like it's a split second drop in, and then the people, places, and things and experiences will show up that will pave the way for me. It's like they show up with the red carpet and saying, "Here you go, Mina." And I'm like, "Oh my God, the thought hadn't even registered. It hadn't even dropped in." And it's because I've put out so much, and people are taking it and they're using it and they're growing from it, and they're, you know, using it to change 7 generations back and 7 generations forward, and it's all going in my tab. Barkat is the law of attraction, right? The law of attraction is one aspect of Barkat. Yes. Awesome, beautiful. Yeah, I have been seeing angel numbers like crazy for over a decade. It's been like every single day, just thousands of examples of them. She said, "Is it me or has anyone else been seeing angel numbers like crazy since reading Lady Balls?" You know, there's just some crazy things that people have been sending me about Lady Balls. Like for example, my student Eileen pointed out that when I have my forward my you know, where I have like the acknowledgement where I said to 7 generations back and 7 generations forward, I had no idea that that somehow ended up on page 7. Like there's just so many things like that that people have been, I'm just like, oh my, I have chills. I have chills because this is the book that just channeled through so magically that when I see things like that, it just gives me that extra dose of just, I don't know, chills. It's so next level. I'm buying the book for the 3 women who are in my 90-day cohorts. Awesome. I love that you guys are sharing it and passing it forward. Oh, awesome. 443 Eastern Time. This book is so generous. You share all the things, Lady Balls. It's truly the Universe Guru textbook. Yes! I didn't even know that I was literally producing the Universe Guru. That's why I tell you God tricks me into stuff before I can like second guess myself. Because you guys know I'm a projector, right? Sometimes we have trouble seeing our own light, but like I get tricked into projects and then they're like complete. I'm like, oh, and then they're like way bigger than I could have even imagined. I didn't realize this is going to be the Universe Guru textbook until it was already released. God is tricky with me all the time. Hi Neha, happy to have you. Sure, Talia, go ahead and share it. But while you're doing this, let me mention that the university bundle price will be going up at the end of this year. because we've added so many more courses to it and we haven't updated the price in a really, really long time. So, oh, there's 444 people watching, right? I'm telling you, my whole life is just surrounded by angel numbers all the time. So just so you know, that is happening in December. And so now is a really great time to grab it for those of you guys that have it on your wish list. No, we haven't created, this is our workbook. All the other people are basically stealing. We have someone working on that for us. I haven't even seen it. Let me go see. They did that with Contained in Love too. I'm not the only author it's happening to. The other day, I found out that this author I had read years ago released a new book, and I looked up his book on Amazon to buy it, and immediately when I looked it up, I saw that there were people selling workbooks and it wasn't him. So for me, it's always going to say Mina Irfan. Like if you go into if you're ever unsure, if you go into my author page, all my books are going to be listed there. My journal will be listed there. Everything is like tagged properly. Yeah, I mean, look at their covers, right? Like I see the workbooks. These are people that are basically professional scammers that steal stuff, steal other people's like content and make workbooks and stuff. It's against KDP guidelines, so they can get their accounts shut down, obviously. Yeah. I mean, people copy Chanel and Gucci and Louis Vuitton, right? So it is what it is. This is what ours looks like. It's not live yet. This is the proof that came in. But there was one little thing that we need to change, so we're getting it fixed. It's so good. I'm proud of it. Thank you. No, it's gonna come out probably in 2 weeks, 1 or 2 weeks. But no, there's no pre-order. I have the opportunity to leave my corporate job, but the SAB in me panics with the idea of being a stay-at-home mom. What do you do to overcome it when you first became a kept wife? I had to do a lot of inner work. I had to expand my container. So I would say use the 6-step process to rewire your beliefs, and then surround yourself with women that are happily married and provided for, and notice that they don't have the same beliefs as you do. Now, some will be happily married or provided for, but like unhappy. They have their own container issues. Those are not the women I'm talking about. Surround yourself with people that have cracked the code and expanded their container in the areas where you haven't. Because sometimes some of us need that like 4-minute mile and like examples of that. I had no idea that I would end up becoming an example for like literally tens of thousands of people worldwide, because I was just a woman doing my own inner work. But I'm glad that I'm able to offer it. But there's also more people in your real life, right? You might have an aunt, a cousin, a friend, a neighbor that just gets the thing effortlessly because she doesn't have those beliefs. It will come as a bundle also. I'm not sure how to do bundles, but if we figure it out, sure, we can do that. I didn't know Amazon does bundles, but I have noticed other people doing them. So I am going to look into that and see if we can find out how to do that. Dropping into Mina's field has activated a new level of spiritual awakening for me. So much has been accelerated in my life positively, and yes, I'm seeing angel numbers much more frequently. You know, I recommend this book because when I first started seeing them like massively, I wanted answers. Like I wanted something that I could have that would like tell me what the angels were. I could tell that there was messages. Let me see if I can find the book since I have Amazon open here. I have it on my phone, but I'm filming on my phone, so I don't want to mess with it. Which one is it? If I go into it, it should tell me that I own it, right? Okay, this one's not it. There was only like one when I put there's so many now. Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't know which one I have. I had bought it in paperback and on Kindle, so I can always have it on me. But later I'll see if I can find it and add it to my Amazon page. You guys know in my Amazon store, I have books that I recommend. So if you search for Mina Irfan or the Universe Grew Amazon page, Amazon store, I have a whole list of like my most life-changing books. I'll add it there if it's not already there. Cause yeah, there's so many now. Oh, I should have put angel number book. None of these look familiar to me. Is this it? No, because if I go in there, it should tell me that you own this, and it's not saying this for any of these. So I'll add it to my store. So that one isn't like a book to read. It's just, you just turn to the page for the numbers. So if you keep seeing 222, you turn to 22, and it just tells you in like one little snippet what that means. Basically what the angels were trying to tell you. For example, there's so many people scared of the number 666, and it's an angel number. It actually just means think positive thoughts and hold the frequency of where you want to go. But like people have demonized that and think it's like negative, but it's actually a positive number. Since my spiritual awakening in 2014, I found it's not important to find the meaning of the numbers, but rather I recognize the universe winking at me. Yes and no. So there's stages. Remember, we can't skip steps. So when you first start seeing numbers, they're very much communicating through the numbers, and you need to know the meanings for sure. Don't try to skip to that stage, because then this is again one of those things that people who are in the higher stages will often give everyone else advice, but it's not useful advice for the people at that stage. It's only useful advice for people in their stage. So in the beginning, it's very important for you to receive those messages, because the angels are using those numbers to communicate very important things to you. It's life-changing. Like me carrying that book around and seeing the numbers, like I was literally having a full-on conversation with angels, because at the time in the frequency I was, that's the way I could do it. Until I started actually hearing them in my ears and the sound frequencies, I needed that stage. So don't skip it. Don't skip it. Allow yourself to go through the different various stages and embody it, and then you'll activate higher levels. And then that's also okay. How do we know when we are portal hopping, aka go from self-aware Barbie stage to $1 Million Babe stage? So you guys remember I have in my book different things of how to know which stage you're in. So when you start having more of the $1 Million Babe activations and less of the self-aware Barbie activations, you've integrated the self-aware Barbie into your being. So she's important. She's definitely not someone we're trying to get rid of. She's a very important aspect of the divine feminine that we've only have activated in the last 3 generations. Before that, it was very rare. And integrating the self-aware Barbie is what allowed us to have our own bank accounts and have our rights and be able to vote and be able to choose who we're going to marry and have all of these like sort of like physical rights, and not just have them be like metaphysical divine rights, but actually being able to use them here is because of the self-aware Barbie. So we love her, but we want her integrated. We don't want her running the show, because she can make things difficult. She's a control freak. She sacrifices our pleasure, over just manifesting things. So we love her, but we want her more integrated. We want her kind of on the down low and not like running the show. So when you are more resonating with these parts, you know that you've crossed over. And it happens in layers, in stages, and that's okay. The name of this book is Lady Balls. It's linked in the description box. I will go ahead and I have 2 books. Both of the books have the stages in there. I added, oh, that one, no, Soul Numbers is different. I'll add it to my store. I don't know the name of that book. Like I said, I couldn't find it. Are you going to make a manifestation perfume? We would all love to smell like you. Ooh, that's an interesting idea. I hadn't considered it, but interesting. A manifestation perfume. I'm gonna, before I hop on, I will open up the chat to everyone for a few minutes, just in case anyone has any questions about the courses and the sale. Also, happy Thanksgiving to everyone who is celebrating. I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you. Okay, so subscribers activated. Any questions about the sale? Let me also do a quick exercise for you. How to decide. What I want you to stop doing, this is also Peasant consciousness versus Barkat consciousness. This is an exercise. So let's say that you're trying to decide between 2 courses. Let's say that you're like, should I get the Basic Babe bundle or should I get the Sacred Feminine? Okay. What I want you to do is use the exercises in the Lady Balls where you truth test it. So let's say this was Basic Babe. You're gonna put down, energetically put down Sacred Feminine. So do it now. We're just gonna do it together. So let's say we're trying to decide between the Basic Babe and the Sacred Feminine. This is the Basic Babe. This is the Sacred Feminine. I'm going to energetically put down the Sacred Feminine and just hold the Basic Babe. And then I'm going to drop into my body and see if that feels good. Did removing the Sacred Feminine feel good in my body, or am I like, oh no, like come back over here, or is it like it feels good? Okay, so tap into that. And then you're gonna ask yourself, you're still holding the Self-Aware Barbie energetically in your hand, I'm sorry, the Basic Babe, and you're going to say, should I get this? Should I get the Basic Babe course? And you're going to see a very slight either leaning back, which is a no, or a leaning forward, which is a yes. But first, like I said in the book, you want to check your polls. Sometimes your polls can be reversed, where you get a yes for a no, for a yes for leaning back, and a for, it can be reversed. This happens in childhood. Sometimes we crawl in a way, or something happens where it's reversed. So make sure that you check your polls first, like by saying, is my name Mina? Am I wearing a blue turtleneck? When you ask those questions, and then you'll know what's a yes and a no. So you're gonna test it. And then you're gonna put Basic Babe down, and you're gonna pick up Sacred Feminine, and then you're gonna see if that changes. Like, do you feel good putting that down and holding this? Or do you feel like, oh no, come back here, I wanted that? And then you're gonna also truth test it, by asking, should I get this course? And if both of them are a yes, then that means you need to get both of them. And if one is more of a hell yes than the other one, then get that one. This is how I make my decisions. I do not look at anything outside of me to make decisions. I don't say, should I do this or should I do this? I have moments where I do this, and then my people in my life, like my assistant, my husband, will say, truth test it. And I'm like, oh, right. Or they'll say, which one do you love more? They'll mirror back questions to me that will remind me, oh, stop being a peasant, truth test it. So when you do that, you're going to get the most accurate answer for you than asking someone else. is it appropriate to gift your courses to women we know, or should we introduce them to you? So there is an option to gift courses. They just activated this on our site. Before that, we had men gifting courses to their wives, girlfriends, fiancés. We had sisters gifting to their sisters or mothers. So people do gift them. I think you have to gauge the energy of the person and see. I've had people come into my world because they received a gift from someone and then it changed their life, and then they're buying more stuff. But you know the person that you're thinking of. Hi Mina and ladies, bought 3 courses. Thank you for the sale and happy birthday. Love from Florence, Italy. Thank you, babe. I want to do a birthday haul as well, which I'm excited about doing. I'll probably do it next week. We'll see, maybe this weekend. But I'm excited about doing my birthday haul. I'm not gonna separate it on the other channel. I'm just gonna like put it on this channel probably and just test it. Mina, would you tell me more about the Dream Girl course? There's nothing more to know, babe. It's a transmission on how to raise your perception of yourself and your confidence. You don't need more information. You just need to tap into the part of you that's pulling you towards it. I really want you guys to understand that a lot of these decisions that we try to make logically don't work logically. They're energetic decisions. And if there's a one thing you can learn from all of these trainings that I've done in celebration of this launch, is that I want you to start saying yes to your desires without needing more information. Just if that's what you're being pulled towards, trust yourself. Trust your heart, trust your desire. The conscious couples is only for you. The only course designed to be taken as a couple is the $1 Million Man course. I met my husband on Shadi.com. Apparently now there's multiple sites with Shadi.com. At that time there was only one. This was 15 years ago. Dream Girl is amazing. I bought it today at 4 a.m. and already binge watched it. I love that for you, Shilpa. I'm so glad you loved it. How are you enjoying all of your beautiful perfume oils? Oh my God, I'm obsessed with them. I mean, just the frequency of the bottle shape is just so elevating. I literally feel like Cleopatra. Like, oh, they're so good. You guys, okay, I'll add that to the haul. Thank you for reminding me. Does Islam play a role in your life? So religion is integrated into my being. I feel like I'm a level ahead of religion in the sense that I don't need a middleman to tell me how to do God. I just do God. But yes, it's integrated. Yeah, I'll add it. They're just so pretty. I'll show you guys what I mean. The bottles are just next level and the smells are so delicious. Just foreign and familiar at the same time. Yes, Irfan made some Thanksgiving plans for us. He has some reservations. And then our big Thanksgiving thing with the family is happening a little bit later. But tomorrow we're just doing our family thing, and then we're doing the big thing later. Mina, which course would you recommend for growing your business? I have a digital business. I'm trying to grow for 4 to 5 years, but not been able to make it successful. I would say the CEO Boss Queen would be really great. Honestly, any of them. I would say, since you've already had it for 4 or 5 years, I wouldn't do the Feminine Business Mastermind. That's more entry level. For you, you want to go a little bit deeper. So for you, light workers could be good, but CEO Boss Queen is definitely the one I recommend. Truth test it. Now, when you're truth testing, truth test it multiple times, because what can happen sometimes, our fear is so strong, or our stories, that it can interfere with our truth. So it's okay to do it afraid, but I want you to get used to listening to your soul and choosing that answer, even if it's different than the rational brain. Because the rational brain is the conditioned brain, right? We're trying to learn how to get those best raw real intuitive answers from within. And that is a practice, even though we were born that way, but it's gotten conditioned out of most of us. All right, babes, I don't see any other questions about the courses and stuff, so I will let you guys go. I really enjoyed this. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone who's celebrating. And I don't know if I probably won't be live tomorrow, even though our reservation's a little bit later. I don't know. You never know. I might be live tomorrow. I might not be. We'll see. But you'll definitely hear from me in the email tomorrow morning. We've been sending out some really bomb emails. And I'll definitely see you guys on Friday. All right, I love you. Bye.